New intro. So much love and appreciation to those of you who have been with me for the 2 year period plus that I've been doing this. Thank you for showing your love and support to the channel. And to anybody else who is brand new to the platform and you would like to support the channel, also you can do it by way of Patreon, Anchor, the clothing store, and also the shoe shop that is listed in the comment description below. And again, thank you to any and all of you guys who have been here to support this channel during the 2+ year period. I wouldn't be able to do what I do every single day without you. Former longtime Louisiana sheriff has been arrested on rape and incest charges dating back to 1975. Former St. Tammany Parish Sheriff Jack Strand, age 56, was indicted Tuesday by a grand jury on 2 counts of aggravated rape, 2 counts of aggravated incest, sexual battery, and indecent behavior with a juvenile in alleged sex crimes involving 4 victims that occurred between the times of 1975 to 2004. Just followed an 18-month probe after Louisiana State Police, the FBI, the IRS officials presented evidence to his office that Strand, a former police chief in Abita Springs, before being elected sheriff in 1995 and serving for 20 years, committed some of the sexual crimes while he was serving as St. Tammany Parish top cop. Quote, "The results of the investigation were presented to a grand jury, which returned an indictment this morning. I have a duty to pursue justice when a crime has been committed. The grand jury also has the duty, and when presented with the evidence that makes a determination of probable cause evident to them, they return an indictment in this matter." Montgomery declined to take questions from reporters on the allegations. If convicted of aggravated rape, Strand faces a mandatory sentence of life in prison. The message seeking comments from Strand's New Orleans-based attorney Bill Gibbons was not immediately returned. The aggravated rape accusations regarding 2 victims span a period between 1975 and September of 1981, meaning that Strand would have been as young as 12 or as old as 18 during the time. One of Strand's alleged victims stated that the former sheriff began molesting him while he was just 6 years old. Quote, "He started off molesting me, and it got to the point of raping me. I've been waiting for this to happen, you know. I mean, while he was the sheriff the whole time, he controlled me and my family. I just don't think anyone was going to believe me." Strand also allegedly committed aggravated incest on a 3rd victim between April of 1996 and July of 2002. An aggravated incest and a sexual battery on a 4th person in June of 2004. Strand, whose bond was set at $400,000, was in custody late Wednesday at St. Tammany Parish Jail, a facility he previously oversaw for 2 decades prior to losing a re-election bid in 2015. But a bond hearing was held Wednesday to approve moving Strand to another facility. The sickening allegations arose out of a separate federal investigation involving 2 of Strand's former deputies who pled guilty in February in a kickback scheme related to a work release program.
Walk jurors through the allegations, including rape and incest. There are 4 victims the former sheriff is being tried for, and a 5th who came forward later. He's also expected to share his testimony. All of the alleged victims are males. All of the alleged victims are males. All of the alleged victims are males. Now Strand entered the courthouse this morning holding hands with his wife, Lisa. Today we heard from Mark Finn, someone who admits he has the reputation as a tough guy. But Mark Finn broke down on the stand today, getting very choked up and taking long, deep breaths when getting questioned about his past with Jack Strand.
He used to molest me. I say it started probably around 6 years old, up to 12 years old. And then he got to the point that he started raping me.
Finn said Jack Strand began abusing him when he was 6 years old. They were around each other a lot because their parents were very close friends. By the time Finn was 11 and Strand was 17 or 18, he said Strand raped him multiple times, to the point he would find blood later in his bathtub. Finn said he didn't know what sex was at the time. He added, the hardest part about sharing his testimony is admitting what happened between him and Strand, since he identifies as a straight man. Finn said, quote, "To To say this kills me. It should have been a female to take my virginity. He turned to Strain and said, you took my virginity. He turned to Strain in the courtroom and said, you hurt me in so many ways. All of the alleged victims are males. Now Strain entered the courthouse this morning holding hands with his wife, Lisa.
He give me everything in the world. But let me tell you one thing, I'm not going to be happy until he is locked up.
Like I said, I was just going to allow the video to basically speak and say what it is that directly needs to be stated about Strain, right? And this yet again goes to what I've stated previously before about the global minority, who is the majority on the face of the North American continent, and how they allow their own people in power to abuse that power and to also abuse the kids within their community by way of that power. And more than likely, right, some of these parents out here knew about this and they allowed it. You heard how they sat up there and stated that um, Strain was friends with the family, right, at a certain age, and how it is that he continued this throughout a period of time, all the way up until he was almost 18, 17, 18. And he still continued this exact same thing. And he basically was grooming, right, this man at the point in time when he was a young man, um, into accepting a lot of these acts, right, that Strain felt were fine and dandy to do, right? And you heard a grown man basically state that at the end of the day, that it should have been a woman that, in a sense, took his virginity, but it was you. I'm not sure if people actually understand how difficult it is for men later on in life to admit that things like this take place and happen. Because the thing that men understand is that the moment in time that, we just so happen to show a little bit of weakness, right? People are just going to automatically deem you as weak. If you, as a guy, right, as a man at this point in time, were to come out and basically state that, various things happen to you, there's not going to be sympathy and support from women. And this is one of the main reasons why guys don't do this. Because guys understand that if you decide to do this, then women aren't going to deem you as strong. They're not going to deem you as that protector because they're going to be like, well, if you couldn't protect yourself, then how could you, protect me? Right. And that even goes into the effect of men who were locked up in jail or prison, that end up coming home and they had to face a lot of assaults in jail. A lot of those guys aren't going to be honest about that because they know that women are going to view and look at them different. They're going to view them as less than. Look, we're just being honest here. Some women might roll up and say, like, oh, no, no, I would. That's great that, you're the type that's not. So you can throw yourself directly to the side and move directly out of the way. I'm specifically talking to the overwhelming majority. And like I said, if people are being honest, right, then people will admit, women will admit that, yeah, that is the case. Women aren't going to sit up there and like console you. They're in the back of their minds, they're gonna be like, yo, well, you know, was he into it? Is that something that he wanted? How exactly did that go? Like, did he really try to fight for it? Like, they'll go through so many types of situations and scenarios because they're trying to figure out, is this who this person really is due to the fact that these acts took place, right? Which is jacked up, which is 100% jacked up. But like I said, it is what it is. And this is why you see one of the victims, coming out and he can't even like look directly at the, reporter when talking about it, because he's embarrassed by it. He's ashamed by it. This is not something that, men want to, 100% open up about, and talk about. And like I said before, like, it's a shame that this guy decided that this is what he wanted to do. And this is how he wanted to specifically affect, um, you know, other men's lives. Like, you heard what he basically stated. Like, he's, in a sense, he's a career criminal. He's also a drug addict. And you can basically blame that on what it is that he went through. Because people use alcohol and drugs as coping mechanisms in order to cover up a lot of things that they went through, a lot of pain that they went through, so that they don't necessarily have to feel, so they can numb it out, so that they don't have to, relive it and go through it. They're trying to bury that down in every single bottle that they drink. They're trying to, fog all of those images out with, every single hit that they basically take from some weed or different stuff like that. Because you got a lot of hurt people out here that hurt people. And that man right there is hurt by everything that took place during his childhood by way of strain. And that ended up having a negative effect directly on him. But like I said, whenever you want to talk about these stories and bring the stuff up, the main population in America never want to directly talk about these things. They want to, sweep it under the rug. They want to act like it doesn't exist. They want to start deflecting and start talking about what black people are doing versus what specifically is going down and happening, and that is allowed to take place within their own community. And because it's allowed to take place there, guess where else is going to end up? It's going to end up in our community as well. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.